Evening all, and welcome back to RLH, and like a few other things this evening, Formula 1 is coming home. So we're at Silverstone. What better place to end the season? A little bit of tricky on track it looks like at the moment, as we have what looks like pretty heavy rain for the start of qualifying. And yeah, a lot of the guys out there in pretty high spirits, and a couple out there wishing they were somewhere else after this evening's previous sporting occasion. But the biggest thing, of course, of this evening is RLH for round 9, the final round. We'll be crowning some champions this week, if we haven't already. I know we have in C6. That one's already gone. I think we're pretty close, if not confirmed, in C4. Which we've got tonight, of course, and we're just going to see everyone is on the full wet at the moment, as we see a couple of drivers coming out on track. And who have we got out there? We've got Evil Master, who is your championship leader, and we've got King of Talk, the first couple of guys out on track. And we will just have a look at a few of the standings. So we have Evil Master, who is, if my maths is correct, let's just have a quick look. What's he on? 218. So it's Jero 41 points behind. There's 42 on offer, 40 for the race win, one each for pole and the fastest lap, of course, if you're in the top 10. But the points down to 15th means Evil Master will have to not finish, which is very possible if conditions stay as they are. And Joro will need to win the race with pole position, and yeah, because he'd have an equal amount of wins and less podiums. So yeah, he would need the full 42 points. So he needs pole for a start. So the championship could actually be decided in qualifying, and we'll wait to see what's going to happen. King of Talk is actually the first man, I think, round to start a lap, and we'll just see what's occurring here. Try and catch up with any comments along the way as well. And we've got Shaq in the comments. Good luck, everyone, and go Evil for the championship. And we'll know for sure. Well, we'll know if that's still open in the next 15 minutes as he starts his first flying lap. And what is a tricky first sector at Silverstone. The newest part of the track, of course. It used to go left through a chicane at Abbey and then through the flat-out section of Bridge, but added in the Wellington Straight now with a bit of a complex beforehand. And that's the end of the first sector for him. A little bit of a lock-up, but gets it turned in. Now through Luffield, one of the slowest corners on the track. And especially in these conditions, just waiting an age to get back on the throttle. But he's done that now, and through Woodcote, which is a little bit more tricky in these conditions. It's just absolutely flat out in the dry. And Phil's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. That's a new one. Not entirely sure how he's managed that, but Phil will start down the back, 13th, no matter what happens. Even if someone were to crash, he will start 13th. As Evil Master now rounding the Maggots and Beckett sequence onto the hangar straight into the final sector. We'll just check in with King of Talk, who has invalidated, so he's not going to set a time, although he goes round maybe to start another lap. It's not a bad idea to just keep racking the laps up and put a bit of extra fuel in, just get your eye in, really. The tyres aren't as peaky as sort of the qualifying tyres, the soft tyres, so you can, and the fuel penalty is a lot less. As Evil Master goes across the line, first man to set a time is a 1:40.278, and who have we got next? We've got Blue coming through Stowe. Just one corner, or a couple of corners to go. The final sequence through Club and Vale. All looks pretty neat and tidy from the outside. Just trying to get on the power now, which is easier said than done. It's a long right-hander to end the lap, and goes fastest with a 39.3. Puts him to the top of the pile. And just see. Yeah, Phil spun in the pit lane exit. So that's why he has been disqualified from the session. So he's got a little bit longer to wait before he gets out on track. We've got Multi, who's gone into P2, meanwhile, on a 39.6, and Joro only a 40.3 so far, so if he wants to stay in that championship fight, he needs to find a little bit of time. LaRue's invalidated, we've got Wazza out on track, and so he's just coming through the first sector then, on a flying lap by the looks of things. It will be a little harder than usual, of course, to keep up with things because, as we say, a lot of drivers out there will just stick the fuel in and go for a few laps rather than the sort of traditional out flying an in lap. So we'll try and keep an eye out as best as possible as who's doing a lap. King of Talk, I think, about to come across the line, does on his second lap, does a 40.1, puts himself into the top 3 provisionally, as I think that's Evil Master returning to the pits. It is indeed. So he's just going for the 1 lap and then back to his garage. Wazza, though, all looks pretty neat and tidy through Cops. Now the Maggots and Beckett sequence, a real challenge at the best of times, but this rain is making it all the more difficult. But sticking with 6th gear, 5th for the tightest part at Chapel, and then short shifting just to keep that rear end in check as he started to get a little bit loose. Purple middle sector though, so this could be looking good for Wazza. Blue's improved a little bit into the 38s, 38.948 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Multi stays second for Williams at the moment. We've got, I think, Castle coming across the line yet. 46.2, not a representative time for him. Joro goes up P2 with 39.1. Next man across the line is going to be Wazza. We're on board with him. A little bit squirrely out of the final couple of corners, trying to get the traction as he comes across the line. Goes P4. I think he's got Multi behind him, has he? He has indeed. Doesn't improve. So Wazza slots in to P4 on the second row. And who can we find? We've got Nika coming across the line with a 41.8, puts in P8 at the moment. LaRue in the only racing point is trying to find his way through the final couple of corners across the line. 40.9 slots into what is a pretty competitive mid-pack at the moment in the 1 minute 40s. And Mikey across the line as well, just behind him, just on a 40.9 as well. Who have we got next? We've got a couple of drivers returning to the pits. We've got Adidas potentially on a lap. We'll go with him as he comes through the final couple of corners. Have a look at him getting the power down. He's in 2nd gear, so very low gear compared to some of the others we've seen. But coming across the line into the 39s, well into the 39s. 39.289 puts in P3. Knocks Wazza down onto the 3rd row, and someone's gone across the line now. I think that was Cryptox, I believe. Yep, goes through on a 40.5, so again slots into that 1 minute 40 bracket. And we've got Castle coming on another lap, and quite a big improvement as we'd expect. He's currently on a 46.2. This is going to put him a lot closer to the pack. Can he get himself further up the timing table? And he invalidates. Got a little bit sideways. Took too much of that curve. Joro across the line improves, but not quite enough to take that top spot off Blue at the moment. And that's the top spot he needs, of course. Remember, he needs that 1 point to maintain any chance of the championship going into the race. And what have we got? Yeah, Phil just explaining further about his little misdemeanor, as we've got Wazza, I think, coming across the line. Doesn't improve, maybe a slow lap to recharge. Mikey's invalidated by the looks of things, so no improvement there. I think LaRue was off the track briefly there, as Nika returns to the pits. Cryptox down the back straight is going about 0.6 quicker, which will put him, which will gain him a row at the moment, put him around about P6 on the grid. If he can maintain that coming through the final couple of corners, we'll go on board, because this is definitely an area where we've seen some guys struggle getting the power down through club. Sort of a double apex right-hander, it all becomes one corner really. And he comes across the line, does improve, puts himself into the 39s, and even grabs another position off Wazza to go just behind his teammate Multi. Williams line astern then, as we've got Adidas coming across the line, slow lap for him as well. Currently sitting P3. Joro is coming back to the pits for a little bit more fuel and maybe a new set of tyres. Who else have we got? Evil Master's in the pits, so that must be Castle, who is coming into the pits as well. Cryptox continues on. Sorry, no, that's must be Multi, who's actually improving a little bit as he comes through the final corner. We're going to see what he can manage. Can he gain any positions? Does. Goes onto the front row, almost into the 38s, just misses out. Blue maintaining that pole position so far for Alfa Romeo. Joro knocked back yet another position in his quest for that all-important pole. Adidas is onto the old pit straight, coming up towards Copse, using a lot of that entry curb for these conditions, but gets through pretty clean. We'll keep an eye on what have we got. We've got a Renault crossing the line, I think starting a lap, as is LaRue possibly in the Racing Point. Adidas, we're going to see the second sector time any moment now as he comes through the exit of Chapel. He's improved by 0.3. This could be a provisional pole setting time, purple middle sector. Just a couple of corners to go again, taking a lot of entry curb, and a little bit of grass as well. So he's certainly feeling pretty brave in these conditions. Last couple of corners for the Haas man to negotiate. And yeah, through again using a little bit of curb. Looking for best traction across the line. Is it 38? It is. It's 38.7. Lowers the bar for pole position as Blue makes his way out on track to give it another go. We've got some yellow flags out. I think some people are just positioning themselves. Maybe a little incident down at Luffield as well. But for now, there's a little bit of calm as we await the next set of runs. Who have we got preparing for a lap? We've got Wazza, I think, on a lap, but not improving. We've got a Williams in there as well. Could be Multi, is preparing for a lap by the looks of things. What about Mikey? Can we catch him through the middle sector? We can. It's not going to be an improvement, I don't think. No, he's on a slow preparation on the lap by the looks of things. Maybe even going back to the pits. A lot of drivers coming back to the pits. Just over 5 minutes remaining, and it is a pretty long lap. So as Multi, I think, getting well out of the way there. Or has he maybe had a little bit of an off? Not entirely sure on that one. We've got to King of Talk. Looks like he's doing a lap. We're on board with him. See a little bit of a spike there, it seems, but through the final couple of corners, can he improve from a 1 minute 40.1? Looks like it could be into the 39s. No, not quite. Doesn't improve. And yeah, a little bit laggy there as well, but not usually an issue with King of Talk. So hopefully, yeah, no problem going forward there. Who have we got then? We've got a couple of cars coming back to the pits. Nicker's on an outlap. We've got the two AlphaTauris out there, both on outlaps. So this is sort of the, yeah, very much the calm before the storm, isn't it? They're all coming on to laps now, and probably again, with 4 minutes remaining, got a couple of laps worth of fuel in there. And we'll try and grab all the sector times as they come through. We've got Blue, I think, potentially on a lap. King of Talk. Someone's just dropped down, actually. Who's gone quicker? Not entirely sure on that one. But, yeah, so Blue is going a little bit quicker so far. We'll get the middle sector time in just a moment. As he comes through Chapel, a little bit of understeer, not ideal. Kicks up a little bit of the grass, comes across the line. Yeah, he's dropped almost half a second. What can we get from King of Talk? He's going slower than he's been before. Nicker is a little bit of an improvement, but he needs more than that if he's going to trouble the top 10. Castle still not improved from that 46.2. We expected that to be easy for him. Evil Master spun. So he's down in 8th at the moment, and he's spun on his lap here, so hopefully he's got enough fuel to get round for another try. Jaro's invalidated. Needs that pole position, of course. We could be crowning a champion even before the race starts. Adidas still in the pits at the moment and still sitting on that provisional pole for now. Blue into the first few corners on another lap. Who could be potentially... We've got Nicker coming through Stone out. Is he on a push lap? We saw he was improving a little bit, I think, through Sector 1. Can he carry that through Sectors 2 and 3? Oh, looks very very tentative, doesn't it? I don't think this is going to be an improvement. Maybe just setting himself for a lap. It is actually an improvement. 40.8, but very, very cautious on the throttle, though. So obviously not much confidence in that McLaren in these conditions. Maybe dry race on the horizon might have put a bit of a compromise on the setup, but Castle goes up. Big improvement for him, finally, as we expected. 39.0 puts him P3. Joro invalidated that lap, didn't he? So this is all important now. He'll get one more attempt if he's fueled for it after this, but he really needs to be getting a lap on the board sooner rather than later. Wazza is on an out lap, coming through the final couple of corners, and Evil Master, we saw, blew it pretty early on in this lap. Blue now, though, is improving just by a fraction, but not enough to worry Adidas for that provisional pole as it stands. Last couple of corners, can he make any sort of big leap and topple the Haas driver once again? We'll know very shortly. It's going to be in the 38s. It is just, look at that, 1/100th of a second. 38.734 lowers the mark. What can anyone else manage? Multi is on an outlap. We've got King of Torque out there, invalidated. LaRue, outlap as well. Who's next to cross the line? Mikey on an outlap as well. Nicker improving by another 0.3. Might, if he can find a little bit more confidence in those final couple of corners, might start to worry a couple of drivers ahead of him. We'll stick with him across the line as well. I think we've got potentially Evil Master just behind on track, so we'll keep an eye on that. Nicker through the final couple of corners. Can he get anywhere near the low 140s? A little bit of an improvement, nothing major. Evil Master's invalidated. It's Castle, though, coming across the line. 37.8. Massive improvement in the final moments. And he's got one more lap as well. Joro, 0.6 improvement. That's not going to be enough, though. 38.3. Castle could be about to crown his teammate the champion with that lap. That's going to take some beating for Joro. He's got one attempt. This is it for Joro. So if he's fueled, he can go for it. But got some work to do. Got some time to find. Evil Master has... yeah, he's got enough time to start another lap. He needs to be careful that he doesn't... Is Wazza on a lap behind him? No, he's also on a prep lap by the looks of things. Blue is not improving, goes back to the pits. That's qualifying over for him. Multi, a 10th up. He could start to trouble that second row if he can maintain this. Yep, 4/10 up. So this could be a P3 lap. Provisional P3 anyway for Multi. We'll put Williams right up the sharp end of the table. Just a couple of corners to go and we will find that out. We've got LaRue and King of Torque finding each other on track as well. I think they're both on flying laps. LaRue comes back to the pits, so that's qualifying over for him. Multi across the line, 38.5 puts himself P3. We need to find out where Joro is at the moment. There he is. He's improving a fraction, but middle sector's not good. It looks like Evil Master might be about to, despite the fact he's currently in P9 and not looking great at all, might be about to take the championship. Wazza improving a little bit. Mikey is not. Joro is off by the looks of things. Yeah, he's off at Stowe. He went win or bin, and he's put it off the track. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see. As soon as he crosses the line, it will be mathematical confirmation that we have a new C4 champion, and it's Evil Master, who's got a lot of work to do in the race from P9, but he is your new Season 9 Euro Cup champion for C4. Castle has invalidated, so we're not going to see any more from him. Wazza, sort of matching his best so far, and gets well out of shape through Stowe. I don't think we're going to see an improvement. And Evil Master is once again in a bit of a horror show qualifying for him. Not the way you'd want to win the title, but Joro needed that maximum score, and it's not going to come to him. That, I believe, is Multi's car returning to the pits. So the only car we are waiting for now is Evil Master, who's on your screen. He has completely cooked those rear tyres by the looks of it, and just needs to get back to the pits now, so we can go racing. Maybe doing a few donuts for the championship. So, qualifying just about complete then. As you can see the struggles he's having getting back to the pits. He should just about be there now. He's completing the lap. Which actually, yeah, I suppose will complete things quicker because it's a very long pit lane at Silverstone. Those rear tyres very much cooked, but could do with him just creeping across the line, which he is tantalisingly close to. And there we go. Qualifying completed then in pretty atrocious conditions. I wonder if we're going to see an improvement for the race. Confirmation then that Castle for AlphaTauri takes pole position. Joro just missing out in P2. Well, actually missing out by half a second in the end, but that was one position shy of where he needed to be. Multi, good qualifying for him. P3, Blue, long-time provisional pole sitter, ends up P4. Adidas as well was up there for a while. P5, Cryptox, good qualifying for him. But, Williams, both Williams right up there with a chance of big points. And Wazza, King of Talk, Evil Master, your new champion. Mikey, LaRue and Nico round out your qualifiers. Phil, we lost very early on. So yeah, not an ideal qualifying session for McLaren. Hopefully they've got a few tricks up their sleeve. Ready for the race. We'll find out very shortly. Looks pretty dry and bright for our final race day in C4. As we're just waiting for the guys to lock in their starting strategies. And of course they do all have free choice of tyre compound. No slicks used in qualifying whatsoever. So they'll all be on a brand new set of whatever tyre they pick. And they will all have plenty of new sets available. Although you would have to say Silverstone's a pretty guaranteed one-stop race if you can avoid trouble. So they won't need too many of them. And hopefully in the not too distant future we'll see cars on the grid ready for the formation lap, which Castle will lead us away on. Already well underway with the formation lap then. And it's Castle leading us round from Joro. A little bit of a fight still to happen, of course, between those two for P2 in the standings. They come into this race just 2 points adrift. Castle actually behind Joro, 177 and 175 between them, despite the fact Castle's had 5 podiums to Joro's 3 and 2 wins to Joro's 1. The Mercedes driver has obviously been very consistent in picking up those points. There's also a bit of a battle to be decided between the McLaren drivers for P4 in the championship. No Giraffe tonight, so he will not be involved in that. Those points are Phil currently on 156, Nicker on 135, Giraffe on 131. And I think Wazza, yeah, just a little bit shy of that. And yeah, so Wazza and Mikey probably in a little bit of a battle for P7, best of the Renaults. Multi as well, and Adidas just separated by 1 point for P10 currently. No Frenzy tonight, so they could both be battling over P9 in the championship come the end of this race, constructors-wise, as we line up on the grid. We'll just get a few bits in order. and await the drivers lining up. Yeah, AlphaTauri confirmed Constructors Champions. No major fights. Mercedes and Renault, a little bit of a fight going on, but we're going to potentially have lights coming on. And, yeah, 5 of them will come on. And we are underway. Decent start, it looks like, from Kessel. A lot of wheel spin further back, but the AlphaTauri driver looks to be leading into turn 1. Joro going with him, though. Can multi-stick it out around the outside. We've got Adidas in there as well. Hopefully no collisions as they come into the first stadium for the first time. The front wing's definitely gone flying there. As LaRue's off further back. Not entirely sure who that was, though. It looks like Phil might have been involved in something. He's spinning around again. It's been a nightmare race for him so far. Kessel leads us away down the back straight. Adidas has made a good start, up 3 places already to P2. Very good start for the Haas driver. Joro down 1, Multi lost 1, and I think there may be no damage on the Williams. Wazza up a couple of places as well. Evil Master has gone through as well there, so there's definitely a bit of front wing gone flying somewhere. King of Torque looks to might be the left front of the Ferrari. It is indeed. So I think everyone else has come through unscathed. Nika trying to gain a few positions. And it is. Blues had a horrible start, down 5. Cryptox as well, down 6. Is everything connected on that Williams? It seems to be. So potentially just King of Torque in the Ferrari then that's had a bit of a nightmare. So Castle leads us away as we come down the hangar straight for the first time. And it's getting pretty close for P3. Wazza as well, and Evil Master. The AlphaTauri, oh, a little bit of contact as they come down into Vale. Evil Master just needs to bide his time. Out of position a little bit in qualifying, so yeah, he will start to make his way through, you'd imagine. Just needs to be patient about it. As who we lost out of this? Adidas, where's he gone? I think we've just lost him off the timing screen, haven't we? He's come through in 11th place for some bizarre reason. Should shuffle around again once we come to the end of the first sector. Yeah, it's usually everyone that shuffles around, so it's strange to see just one driver coming through. Confirmation, hopefully. Yeah, now it's starting to settle down. Confirmation there of Castle will come to the top as they all go through. So Castle leads from Adidas, Joro, Multi, Wazza and Evil Master. That's your top 6 at the moment. We've got Cryptox, someone's King of Torque. We lost King of Torque, and Mike is through the gravel with no front wing. And Phil now. Oh, Phil in the gravel as well. Yeah, understeer there. Kicking up a little bit of the gravel as he saw the incidents kicking off ahead of him. But he should be able to take Mikey pretty soon. Mikey's going to be coming back to the pits with that one. So, back to the front. What have we got? We've got Multi sort of closing in on Joro. Keeping him company. And we've got a move there. That could be Cryptox making his way back past LaRue. Taking P9 by the looks of things. Kessel sets the fastest lap, 129.121. Obviously much quicker than we saw in qualifying in those conditions. Nika is just about sticking with blue at the moment as we've got more shenanigans, and Joro's off. No front wing on that Mercedes whatsoever. So he's been off through the first corner. And we've got a safety car. Oh, Phil's collided with what is, I believe, the AI of King of Torque. Any damage on that McLaren? Looks okay at the moment. Not entirely sure why that car wouldn't have pitted anyway, because it has no front wing. So, just to confirm the order as things settle down behind the safety car, or, well, in the safety car queue anyway, at Delta's speed, of course. So Castle leading from Adidas, Multi, Wazza and Evil Master, and now would be a good time. We've not actually considered the fact that they all started on free choice tyres. So we've got Multi on softs, Blue and Nika also, so that explains why Nika's been gaining some positions. Mikey's been in and fitted the hards, everyone else currently on the mediums they started on. And what is going on here? So, Phil is bunched up behind Joro and King of Torque at the moment. Both, yeah, Joro really struggling because he's got absolutely no front wing. They'll come back to the pits. I think Phil will get a chance to serve that penalty, despite it being under the safety car, which, yeah, is a little bit odd. But that should reset him to the back of the field with fresh tyres and clear of the penalty, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We saw him backwards very early on in the opening couple of corners, so he might even... Has he got a front wing to change? No. He might even outstrip Jaro on this. No, Mercedes is front wing changed and back out on track, both of them on the hard tyres. Both of them should come out comfortably ahead of Mikey for that as well. So 3 cars now down the back of the field with hard tyres on. Not entirely sure what the situation with King of Torque is. I think well, it looked at the time like he'd retired, but the car is very much still there, so I think he's probably just been disconnected. But the car is running without a front wing, or without a significant part of the front wing, and very much running in the pack, which could harm those 3 on the restart. They might lose a little bit of time. Usually depends if he's not retired, this car's just going to keep running, isn't it? Hopefully sooner rather than later it will filter to the back of the pack and won't be too much of an issue. Either that or King of Torque can maybe hop back in and become a part of things once again as everything slows up. Hopefully no collisions under the safety car. No penalties to deal with, hopefully, either. Castle still leading us around. No sign of the safety car in this lap, though. So we will go for another tour. At least one more lap then, and yeah, the drivers are starting to catch the safety car cue. So, Jaro's got some work to do, but what are we on, lap 5 at 26, those hard tyres, as Waz has picked up a penalty, as has Evil Master. So unfortunately, despite the fact that the safety car's not even coming in yet, he nearly runs into the back of him again. We need to be giving more space than this. Depending on the field spreading, yeah, safety car's probably going to be in this lap. Just wondering whether Wazza could pit for a new set of tyres and get rid of that penalty. It's one I really don't understand. I don't understand why they fight. And Evil Master's actually got front wing damage from it as well. So yeah, bizarre one really. They've got more than enough space to leave each other under these sort of conditions. No point wasting yourself 5-second penalty, and of course even worse, a front wing in these situations. We said Evil Master needed some patience and his pace would get him through the pack. It doesn't look like that is the case so far. So his teammate is going to be left pretty much up the top alone for AlphaTauri for the time being. I think we'll get underway this time. We await any sort of indication from race control that we're going to get racing once again. We'd be expecting it through the exit of the second sector, so any moment now. And there it is indeed, safety car in this lap from race control. So now the drivers will start to bunch themselves up. And we will be underway. The question is, does Evil Master pit straight away for that front wing? Or does he try and hang it out until a more scheduled pit stop? But he's not on the mediums, so he was intending to go a pretty long way. We'll keep an eye on whether he does come in. No, he's going racing. So, Castle leading his round. When's he going to go? He's already dropped the hammer through the final couple of corners. Adidas very much going with him though, and might be even putting himself in range of a move down into turn 3. Flat out, pretty much. First couple of corners, very close to a move. Slots it up the inside. That's a pretty late dive. Contact's made. I don't think there's any damage to either car. But he's maybe going to get a second chance down the Wellington straight. Overtake mode enabled for both cars. And he's very close, but again, Castle just about staying ahead. It's going to be have to be a late one once again. Phil picks up a penalty for multiple warnings. Oh, Castle running it right around the outside of Brooklyn's. Well defended. Multi smelling a position or two here as well on those soft tyres. They'll light themselves up a little bit quicker. Blue losing a position, or I think that was one he sort of half gained, because Evil Master was running in P5 on the restart. But look at the understeer in that AlphaTauri. Look at Nika. As a result of Blue had to get out of it. He got caught out with how slow Evil Master was with that front wing damage, and Nick has come straight through, steaming through, and might even be about to take Evil Master as well down the hangar straight. The AlphaTauri here is about to get eaten by the pack. Nika, though, on those soft tyres, up into P5. And now we've got three cars. We've got Blue, Cryptox and LaRue all trying to make up that position. Evil Master really needs to be pitting. I can't understand why he didn't do that a lap earlier while they were all still stuck at safety car speeds for a couple more corners. But Nika now has some clear space to push those soft tyres into for another few laps before he needs to pit back to the front. Still a three-way battle, as we've got Multi now putting Adidas under some pretty severe pressure. No DRS, of course, just yet. Wazzo also joining that party. So it's a four-way scrap for the lead, and then a little bit of a gap back to Nika. Down the Wellington straight we come. Are we going to see any sort of battle? No, Adidas not quite close enough this time around for a repeat of last lap's action. Joro potentially starting to make his way back through the pack as well on those hard tyres. Phil just about going with him. As we've lost Blue, actually. He's pitted. He's pitted as well. And that must have been just a scheduled stop then, because he obviously didn't change front wing because he's overtaken Evil Master in the pits. So why would he not have done that under the safety car? Phil picks up another penalty on the exit of Cops. I think he's just going for... We've got yellow flags. That's Evil Master. Continues his absolute horror show. I'll tell you what, it's a good job for him that Jaro didn't get pole, because he'd be at risk of losing this championship right now if it carries on as he is. Castle, though, doing a very good job of ensuring that he will be P2 in this championship. Already points for pole, point for pole, and leading away on lap 8 of 26. Multi, once again, well in the fight for a podium. We've seen him miss out a couple of times this season. Hopefully one will come his way on home soil. What has he actually picked up this season? He's picked up one podium previously in the Shoro Cup as LaRue. What on earth happened there? LaRue's picked up a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That's a bit of a strange one. I assume he's been across turns 2 and 3 somewhere, and he's got very little front wing left as well. So a bit of a nightmare there for the Seoul Racing Point. But back to the front, Adidas very much putting himself into a position, but absolutely no ERS left in that Haas. So he's going to struggle actually. If Multi can get any sort of slipstream from him, he's got the DRS to defend with, but yeah, really going to start struggling with just 1% energy remaining. Multi might be thinking about a pit stop in the not too distant future. They've had a couple of safety car laps to stretch it a little bit, but those red-walled soft tyres won't go too far. As Phil and Mikey now battling away into Stowe, as they're battling away on penalties as well by the looks of things, because Mikey picks up a 3-second time penalty and then probably another warning as well straight after. As Blue also picks up a penalty, so penalties coming aplenty. I think possibly a side effect that a few guys haven't had time to get their eye in, as we've lost the Evil Master by the looks of things, as he picks up a 3-second penalty and he's stuck it in the wall. No damage by the looks of things. It's whether those tyres have gone or not. He's going to go again if he's not careful yet. Yeah, he needs to come in and change these tyres very much. Back to the front, his teammates still leading away from Adidas, Multi and Wazza. The 4-car train continues, and they're going to be approaching Evil Master pretty soon, so hopefully he can get his way back to the pits before too long. We've lost Blue as well. What on earth is he doing over there? There's definitely signs that a couple of guys out there haven't had as much practice as they would usually run with. Adidas crucially picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. That could be key come the end of the race. As Multi now looking to make a move up the inside. Is he thinking about a pit stop anytime soon? No, probably in the next couple of laps. But Wazza, they're in the best seat in the house for this battle as well. He'll be biding his time. Cryptox doing a good job so far, sticking on the back of Nika. And we've got yellow flags. That's LaRue staying out of the way of the leading pack, which is as close as ever, isn't it? And Wazza's medium tyres maybe just starting to come good. LaRue has either dropped it as a result of running those hard tyres so slow, letting guys out of the way, or he took getting out of the way to a completely new level out there on the grass. But Kessel's just starting to stretch his legs a little bit. Adidas now starting to struggle with that lack of ERS and the fact that he's maybe having to go a little bit defensive from Multi behind him. The Williams driver definitely looking to gain a position down the hanger straight on this lap. If not, he's going to be vulnerable to Wazza, because someone, you feel, is going to make a move sooner rather than later. And have we lost Adidas? We have. Just saw a shadow of it in the corner of the screen, and he picks up another penalty as a result. Run straight across Chapel, and yeah, a little bit of a mistake there from the Haas driver. Multi now up to second place on those soft tyres. Goes for another lap at least. And Wazza just dropped back a little bit as a result of all that. Joro now, though, looking pretty good on those hard tyres, isn't he? Having pitted under the safety car. As Nicker's in to get rid of those soft tyres, so it looks like pitting under the safety car. Joro came in for a new front wing, of course. It might just be the best thing that could have happened to him, because he's not a long way off the leader. He's, what is he, 8.5 seconds off Castle. So it all depends on the pace advantage of Castle and what tyres he puts on. I assume he's maybe trying to go long and put softs on by starting on the mediums. And also, yeah, it depends on what sort of pace he can maintain as he goes longer into the race on those mediums. And well, first of all, can Joro get to the end? I'm pretty confident he will do on these tyres. As Mikey and Phil, both who were the other two to pit for hard tyres under the safety car, continuing their seemingly race-long battle. Currently finds itself being played out for 7th place. And Evil Master is not too far away from finding himself a lap down to his teammate. So it's been a pretty shocking final race for him. Mikey, though, is going to have DRS and a little bit of ERS advantage over Phil. Maybe just a little bit too far behind to think of a move into Stoke. Could get himself in a position down into Vale, though, but there's a lot of understeer in that Renault as he throws the car into Stoke. And Phil will live for another day on that one. Back to the other Renault as he starts to close in once again on Multi, who's trying to stretch those soft tyres as far as possible. Lap 11 or 12 is usually a good time to, well, between lap 10 and 12, usually a good time to get rid of them. But obviously, yeah, as we said, they'll have saved a little bit of life with that safety car period. Wazza, though, he's about 3 seconds off Castle with a penalty as well, so that might just be enough to cancel out any chance of him adding to his one win so far this season. And Mikey now, though, all over the back of Phil as they come through Luffield. A little bit of grass as well, sideways. And yeah, again, just carrying a little bit of an ERS advantage over the McLaren ahead of him. But very similar tyre life and exactly the same compound on these two cars. So they're probably not going anywhere far from each other anytime soon. Mikey half a second behind, very much in that DRS zone. as is Wazza, but gets very close towards the end of the hangar straight. Not quite close enough. Phil kicking up a little bit of dirt ahead of us. Can Mikey start thinking about a move this time? Just too far behind in Stowe again, and once again, yeah, someone steering that Renault. Multi finally pits off those soft tyres, puts Jaro up another position into P4. Phil, though, still maintaining what will now become 6th place. Adidas has recovered and is now just 1.8 seconds behind Wazza, but also himself carrying a penalty. The closest battle on track at the moment is this one between the McLaren and the Renault, as they come down the Wellington Straight for the 13th time. Phil's certainly had an adventure this evening, hasn't he? As that's Evil Master off again. And is there any damage on that car this time? No, needs to make sure to get out of the way of his teammate, which he does do. Needs to be equally as courteous to the cars behind now, because I imagine once again he's struggling with rear tyre temperature as a result of that. Seems to have got off down the road a little bit better this time. Does he think about coming into the pits? No, continues on. Mikey not close enough this time around. Again, just between that half second and 1 second window. Already on to lap 14. Wazza sets the fastest lap of the race on 13 lap old mediums. So, yeah, definitely pulled one out of the bag there. Maybe starting to use the last bit of those tyres up. Blue and King of Torque, who I'm not even sure is in the race. It's a bit of a strange one. He's got front wing damage. He's got front wing damage and 12 lap old tyres. And Blue is struggling to get past him. Should be job done now as we come into Stowe. It is indeed. Castle though, still maintaining and maybe even stretching that lead up the top. It's 3.6 seconds now. Pretty comfortable from any sort of undercut from behind. Joro now though, look, he's closed that gap in to Adidas as Evil Master picks up another penalty. Just, in fact, it's less than a second. He's going to have DRS on this lap to the Haas that really seems to be struggling through the fast corners. As Phil picks up another penalty. Be finishing a long way down from where he is on track at this rate. Jaro putting himself into a very good position to start thinking about a move potentially down the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. All keeping it very neat and tidy, not wanting to spin those hard tyres up. Still got another 11 or so laps remaining on them. It's very much looking a strong bet for the win in this race, as a direct result of throwing it at the scenery early on and losing the front wing. And we might have a move there. That's Wazza, of course, on Evil Master, putting a lap on him. Multi sets the fastest lap of the race on those new medium tyres. He's got to get himself down the road now because there's a couple of cars ahead of him, at least, on hard tyres that you'd expect to go to the end of this race. As, what are they, halfway around lap 15 of 26. And we've got Evil Master once again. Yeah, out of the race. Throws it at the scenery once again. No idea what he's been doing this evening, but yeah, it's not been his finest hour. Jaro now very much in the DRS zone. Got a big ERS advantage. This should be game, set and match for the Mercedes. And he goes through into P3. Can Adidas think? Oh, a little bit of contact, and Adidas picks up another penalty as a result. And he's going to throw one down the inside. Doesn't need to be fighting this fight. Jaro's a long way ahead of him in the true race reckoning. Castle picks up a 3-second time penalty up the front, as did Mikey as well. So and I imagine there's quite a dire situation going on with the penalties. There is indeed. Wazza on 8 seconds, Kessel 3, Adidas on 9, Phil on 9, Blue now on 6, Nicker on 6, Mikey on 6, Larue on 10. Yeah, that's happened. Joro now. Evil Master, do I get points or not? No, you will not. Need to make it to 90% distance, which tonight would have been, what, around either lap 23 or 24. Jaro then is not too far off the lead now, 8.8. Stayed pretty static, hasn't he? And very much looking in a position that he could be winning this race. Adidas trying to stick with him. But, is now coming into the pits as we see Wazza in as well. Castle goes for another lap. Wazza actually serving his penalty as well then, so he gets that one out of the way. Soft tyres going on. Mikey just starting to drop off the back of Phil a little bit. So the big thing now to watch will be Adidas and Wazza on those brand new soft tyres. How far can they get themselves up the field? Multi as well on new mediums. Well, that lasted a while, didn't it? Wazza, that's how far he'll get. The exit of turn 3. No damage, so he will recover, but he's cost himself quite a bit of time there. Drops behind Nicker as a result of that as well. On 5-lap old mediums, that McLaren. So we'll stick with this. Wazza might be able to get that position back at pretty much the first attempt. The other Renault's actually not too far off the McLaren, the other McLaren as well. Well, Wazza going for it into Maggots and Beckett's, and the other one. As Cryptox pits, Castle carries on. This battle now becomes P3 for Phil and Mikey. And yeah, as we've said, you'd imagine these are going to the end. So these that have had a sort of nightmare early on, if they can stretch those hard tyres, that might actually be your top 3. Where is the sort of 20, 21 seconds? They're going to struggle. It's a very long, very slow pit lane as Blue has found a very scenic route through Maggots and Beckett's. Managed to find a barrier a long way from the circuit there. And needs to be careful rejoining as well. We've got the race leader coming through now. And I believe probably on his way to a pit stop. So yeah, Kessel, I think we'll see in this time. End of lap 18. Does indeed. Almost certainly going to put the soft tyres on. The question is, where is he going to come out? Blue comes in right behind him to repair that front wing, of course. Joro will take over the lead of the race. And takes us into lap 19. Phil and Mikey will take over P2 and 3 by the looks of things, as Castle is going down a very slow pit lane, of course, 37 miles per hour here at Silverstone. He does have those soft tyres on. He's got some time to make up. That early pit start, as we said, Wazza, I think it was a little bit too late, wasn't it? It was on the final lap, or the start of the final lap of the safety car, to come in and get rid of that penalty and put a new set of hard tyres on. But pitting under that early safety car definitely seems to be a winning strategy at the moment. Castle has just under 8 seconds to make up on Mikey and Phil if he wants to get himself onto the podium. There's also, of course, the factor of penalties into this. Phil's 12 seconds of penalties are really going to hurt him, and probably, almost certainly going to cost him a podium now this evening. As Wazza and Cryptox. So Cryptox come out right behind the Adidas Wazza battle. Adidas actually a little bit further up the road, isn't it? It's the lapped car of LaRue that's just ahead of this on hard tyres. So Mikey's still maintaining around a 1 second gap to Phil. No DRS this time. Just dropped a little bit out of it. But Joro has a commanding lead and should be able to close this one out now. Lap 20 of 26. 7 to go. Got yellow flags. Has LaRue had a bit of a moment? I think he has, because he was up ahead of that Wazza battle just a moment ago, wasn't he? And that's going to be Nicker to put a lap on him now. Down into turn 1. There you go. Job done there. So Nicker is in a bit of a lonely P9 at the moment, isn't he? Not much really he can do from here, apart from bring it home. Joro's going to get the luxury of DRS off the backmarking Ferrari there. Mikey, though, is definitely, well, he's the closest he's been to Phil for some time. Probably got an advantage on penalties, but will want to, no doubt, get that position on track as well. Both of them running a little low, but Mikey is almost completely empty of the ERS. And again, very wide through the entry to Stoke. The question now becomes, how quick can Castle catch these guys? And you can see they're already just down the road, so I think he's going to be able to take that P2 back on track, let alone due to the penalties. Fastest lap of the race as well, 27.1. By some margin, I imagine as well. I think we've seen a few 28s from Mikey, from Multi and Wazza. 27, low 27, definitely. Far and away the fastest lap we've seen so far. Cryptox picks up a 3-second time penalty. Philip, hello. That's a name we've not seen for a while. Hello, Philip. Good to have you with us. It's all settled down a little bit now, really, after that early drama. Things look like they're just calming down towards the flag. Mikey's still within that sort of 1 second window. Again, drops out of DRS this time. No real on-track battles at the moment. We've got Castle coming up at quite a rate of knots, though. He'll be there pretty soon. Coming around, Joro starts lap 22 of 26. It's not going to be enough for the championship for him today. It will be enough to confirm P2, as Castle looks like he's probably going to finish second here this evening. Came in 2 points behind. 2 points behind Joro. And doesn't quite match his previous fastest lap. A couple of tenths off it that time. As Adidas picks up another penalty. There have been plenty of those this evening. Multi looks like he'll hang on to P5 as it stands. Might even get himself within range. He's got no penalties, so he's going to almost certainly put himself within range of Phil, and he's sort of there or thereabouts on Mikey. Definitely, if the Renault driver gets another penalty, that'll be one to watch. And what's going on here? The Castle pursuit of Mikey and Phil appears to be coming to an end, because it's now under a second. He's got very little energy that he's used to get there, but Look at the extra turning he has through Magnus and Beckett's and then through the final part of Chapel. DRS now open. Mikey has an equally low amount. And I'm pretty sure, if not now, it's going to be a matter of time. Could even be into the final couple of corners, but that would be a risk that probably isn't necessary. And the Ferrari just getting in the way a little bit here as they come through the final couple of corners, buying Phil a little bit of time. They should clear it now on their way down to turn 1. They do indeed. And battle for P3 resumes. Castle, no need to take too many risks on this one. You'll get the DRS down the Wellington straight and it should be job done. Both having a little bit of a recharge, but I think this is going to be it. On board with Castle. Under the bridge, DRS open. This should be job done. LaRue picks up another penalty, but Castle, all locked up, takes that P3 on track. Just 2 seconds behind Phil now, which was easily within range, both on track and due to the penalty situation. So he's going to pick up P2. No chance, though, of catching Jaro if things remain as they are. So it's been a pretty lively season finale then, hasn't it? Plenty to talk about early on. Plenty of incidents. Clearly a little bit scrappy. I think a few people out there have been a little bit short of their usual practice with other events going on elsewhere. But yeah, overall, not a bad way to end the season. And we, of course, say goodbye to F1 2020 this week here at RLH. And the first set of races, the first pair of races, C4 and C2, over this evening, of course. And I'm sure we've got a couple of championships still to crown as we see Castle pick up a bounty there through turn 1. Still a couple of championships to settle over the next 2 days with C1, 3, 5 and 6. And then it all starts afresh on F1 2021 as LaRue's had another spin out of left field. Phil picks up another penalty, which all but confirms Multi's probably going to be looking at a podium. And depending on how long Phil can keep Castle behind him, could this be a potential battle? Multi is at the moment 6.2, 6.3 behind Castle. Really could do with, and Phil's got a lot of energy left, so he could very much hold the AlphaTauri driver up a little bit here. Not close enough this time. He's got DRS, but absolutely no energy to put an attack on Phil. He's using a little bit of his. Didn't really need to use that much. Kessel's a long way off. And Multi putting himself into a position that might just nick P2 here. Phil, no doubt, will be doing all he can. Pretty sure there's a bit of communication between those two as well. Between the McLaren and the Williams driver. Traditionally rival teams, of course, but a little bit of friendship going on there. And no doubt, yeah, doing his best to do him a bit of a favour here. It's a little bit too much at the moment, the gap between Castle and Multi. Right on the border at the moment, isn't it? But, this is definitely the closest battle on track. Phil, with those 15 seconds penalties, pretty much given up on his own race at this stage. I don't think he's going to make that much difference to where he would have been sort of holding Castle. It's probably not going to make that much difference because Adidas has those 12 seconds as well. But no doubt we'll drop a few. Not as much ERS this time around. Castle might be just about within range of an overtake this time. And they're pulling away from Mikey at quite a considerable rate now. Closer this time, but very little energy in either car actually, as Adidas makes it 15 seconds now. Castle, can he do anything about Phil? Jaro's into the final lap. Looking good for that win at the moment. So we've got 5-lap old softs against 20-lap old hards, and at the moment the McLaren stays ahead. Just about. This time, though, they've got absolutely the same amount of energy, so Phil's going to have to get pretty inventive if he's going to keep him behind to the flag. That's about all he's racing for at the moment. He knows he's going to lose a lot of time with those penalties, so he just wants to keep him behind for pride, if nothing else. But Castle just about within range. Close, close, close. Not quite close enough. Just ran out of energy towards the end of the straight. But now he holds the advantage. Phil used a lot, but he gets pinched on the inside of Luffield. That might just give Phil the advantage he needs. Multi, though, is about 7 seconds off at the moment. It's not going to be enough. Wazza has overtaken Adidas down into Brooklands by the looks of things. Should get that job done. And we'll try and keep an eye on this battle. Joro is coming through the final couple of corners. So, yeah, great recovery from Joro. He comes through Club and Vale now. But, we'll try and stick with this battle as long as we can. Castle, can he go round the outside of Phil? We go to the leader. Joro wins the British Grand Prix. Castle, though, takes Phil right at the death. Can Phil do anything to come back? They're going side by side. Phil's going to be round. He tried everything right to the very last corner, but it might even end up costing him a little bit more as Mikey's going to sneak through for the P3 at the line. But Multi, I think he's going to take P3 on the penalties. He does indeed. Multi P3, Mikey P4, Phil P5 for now. Wazza has to still come through the final couple of corners. The penalty that he's got for 3 seconds might just save Phil's bacon on this occasion. It doesn't. Phil drops another 2 places. Cryptox P6, Phil P7, Adidas with his own 15 seconds. He's 8th at the moment. And can Nicker take that one? Maybe not. No, not quite. King of Talk, I don't think he's with us. And Blue and LaRue will finish a lap down for the Racing Point team. And I think that's a wrap on proceedings for C4. Plenty of discussion ongoing already at the end of that race. Plenty of incidents. Mikey apparently has been given driver of the day. We'll take a look at things and see what we can come up with. Joro, of course, very good drive, but I believe, don't want to make any assumptions, but I think dropped it himself early on, which required that front wing change under the safety car. But yeah, definitely had his fair share of ill-timed safety cars this season, so only fair that he gets one back right at the end. And standing on the top step of the podium. Confirmation of your results. Joro for Mercedes taking that P1. That will help them in the combined constructors, which will come to a close this week, of course. That will help them no end. Castle, Pulsar picks up P2. Multi, great drive, P3 to P3, albeit a bit of an adventure on the way. Mikey and Wazza take P4 and P5. Line of stern for Renault. The second Williams, also big points for them this evening. For P6, Phil down in P7 in the end. Haas, just the one driver with Adidas tonight in P8. Nicker P9. King of Talk, I think, was a non-finisher. Blue and LaRue a lap and 2 laps down respectively. And Evil Master, a non-finisher, a long way into the race. So about 10 seconds from home, 10 laps, sorry, from home. So that is your final C4 result of the season. And yeah, thanks all for joining us. Thanks for the comments, and yeah, be sure to join us the next couple of nights. No football on, so plenty of time to appreciate the final few races in the other tiers. Yeah, thanks once again for joining us, and thanks for joining us all season for C4, and good night.